Hey guys, KRX50 here with another review. This time I'll be reviewing the Henshin Belt Deluxe Sclash Driver from Kamen Rider build. This is the belt used by Kamen Rider Cross Charge and Kamen Rider Grease to transform. This set includes the Sclash Driver itself, a set of belt parts, and 2 Sclash jellies. So, let's get started. Starting off, we'll look at the 2 Sclash jellies, which are the Sclash Driver's equivalent to full balls, and these are based off of jelly drinks, which are something that is pretty popular in Japan, though less popular and less common in other parts of the world. So the first one is the Dragon Sclash Jelly, which is used by Kamen Rider Cross Charge. And so for these, you can see that the top part here is all plastic with the kind of nozzle and the cap up here, which for this one is a steel blue. It has what is basically the generic rider symbol for the series on it. This can be twisted around, like with full ball caps. And coming down to it, we have the actual pack itself, which is wrapped in basically the same kind of foil that you would see used for card packs. It has a nice design on it. You can see Dragon Sclash Jelly written here in English. And I know Sclash isn't a real word, but I really have no idea where they came up with it. You also see this profile shot of a dragon head, and you can see that it's made to look like it's made out of jelly. We come around to the back. Got kind of a fake back packaging with some just bars for where the nutrition facts would be, as well as even a fake little barcode down here. It's also got warnings for don't put it in your mouth and do not eat. So with Sclash jellies, instead of being able to shake them up like with full balls, instead you take them and squish them like so. And then when you let them go, they expand back out to normal, and that's most likely due to there probably being a sponge in the side, or sponge inside, that allows it to expand out back. Which is good, as it allows it to keep its shape or return normal when you're done using it. Though over time you will see little crinkles here and there in the wrapping. It's also got a QR code down here for gun rising, like with the full balls. Then we have the Robot Sclash Jelly. This time it has a black cap up here. And it's got gold wrapping as opposed to the silver wrapping for the Dragon Jelly. You can see the name here. You have the robot symbol, which is the same one as the robot full ball, since this was designed using data from that full ball. Again, you have that kind of fake back packaging back here. Cap still twists. And you can squish it. Just like that. Next, we'll look at the Sclash Driver itself. So this is done up mainly in this metallic steel blue, with some bits of silver all around, as well as clear red and clear yellow. Plus, some parts are also chromed out. A lot of nice mechanical details in there. You got the trademark kind of caution stripes along there. You have the speaker down here. And you also have the 2 most notable details, which are the jelly tank here and the wrench over here. And so for this, the big gimmick is that when you pull down the wrench, these 2 parts compress in, and these will squeeze the jelly packs, or the Sclash jellies. Carrying out to the back, we have the places to put in the belt parts. The battery cover takes 3 AAA batteries. Of course, in here is where you're going to insert these Sclash jellies. Then on the bottom we have the power switch. Of course, it also comes with a set of belt straps. And these are done in the same style as the ones that came with the build driver, with the straps just being done in silver instead of yellow. And so as usual, we have the L and R on them, which correspond to which side they're meant to go in, which are also labeled. You can put them in like that. Have the belt straps attached. Though, just for the sake of demonstration purposes, we'll be keeping them off. Next up, we can test out the Sclash driver with our Sclash jellies. So to start, we need to switch it on, where we'll get a confirmation line sound. And similar to the build driver, when you activate the mechanism with nothing inside, no lights or sounds activates. So we'll need to use one of our jellies. And we'll start off with the dragon jelly. So we'll twist the cap, then insert into the driver, and pull down the wrench a few times to squeeze out the jelly. And there we have the transmission for Kamen Rider Charge. And while it is technically a power-up form for Kamen Rider Cross, it's in a similar situation to Zangetsu and Zangetsu Shin, where he needs a separate belt in order to turn into that power-up form, and it's unknown if this will replace his normal form, as this hasn't actually debuted in the show yet. Then I'll give you guys a close-up for the finisher attack. So for Cross Charge, his finisher is the Scrap Break. Then we can take this out. Next we'll use the Robot Jelly. And there we have the transformation for Kamen Rider Grease. And once again, we get a close-up for the finisher attack. And so Grease's finisher is the Scrap Finish. Additionally, thanks to having the same type of reader as the build driver, the Sclash driver is also compatible with full balls. So, if we take an organic full ball, like the rabbit ball, insert it into the driver, it reads it as a charge ball. Then if we try to squeeze it, that activates the charge crash. Then, if we take an inorganic full ball, like the tank ball, put it in, it becomes a discharge ball. If we try to squeeze it, it activates the discharge crash. And it's the same if we use other balls like Gorilla. And Diamond. And lastly, we can see what happens when we use the Dragon and Robot full balls with the Sclash driver. So first we'll test out Dragon. you'll see that it recognizes it as the Dragon Jelly and activates the Cross Charge transformation. And the reason for that should be quite clear, and that's because if we look at the backs of these two, they share the same pin set. The same is also true for the Robot Full Ball and Robot Sclash Jelly. So, if we put in the Robot Bottle, it recognizes it as the Robot Jelly and activates the Grease transformation. And there we go. So overall, the Sclash Driver is a pretty cool secondary belt. Similar to the Build Driver, it's really built off of how the belt interacts with the gimmick. In the case of the Build Driver, it was using the pins and the crank to show them, or show the chemicals inside the balls being mixed around. And with the Sclash Driver, it's showing the simulation of the jelly being squeezed out into the tank. And it definitely works pretty well with how you really have to, use a bit of force in order to squish the jelly packs. And it's also nice how, thanks to them having sponges inside, they can expand out back normal so they're not entirely ruined. And they do make some pretty neat lights and sounds. It's also cool that it has interactivity with the full balls, though that is also where it's a bit more flawed, since it recognizes almost all organic full balls and almost all inorganic full balls in the same two ways. Even with the same light color, so you don't even get that much change, even though it is shown to have a multicolor LED. That being said, there is still a little bit more playability to get out of this, but that won't be until we get a future release coming a little bit later. So, if you're a fan of Kamen Rider Cross Charge or Kamen Rider Grease, then this is definitely something I recommend picking up. Next time, I'll be doing the Deluxe Twin Breaker tomorrow at 6 PM PST. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you're new and would like to see more, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. And for now, this is KRX50, writing off.